as what the app is that they're using in DC?
Well, I know it's they have like a Lyft. One of them is called Lime. Basically, you download the app, you go up to a scooter, you scan a QR code, and they charge you based on how long you're using it and how many miles you have.
Yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, like, why can't that be a wallet? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. So, yeah, no, that's really interesting because, when I was out in Korea for this last week, we see the bikes out there. They'd have to pay a small amount to use them, but no, for sure, I think we could definitely tie it to a wallet. And the nice thing about doing it as a wallet is, that'll give you some additional capabilities. Like you could have it be a little bit more decentralized. You still have to have people that are going to kind of take care of the bikes and so forth. But with a crypto wallet, you could have it kind of run on its own more than what the way it traditionally gets done right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'd love to get to the potential Nigeria trip. So what is the ultimate goal for that visit, and what does that partnership potentially look like?
Yeah, so out of the gate, when we go out there, we're going to be partnering with NS Labs, who already has a agreement in place with Nigeria, and that is going to be to work on the on their rainforest, right? So to build that into our metaverse app. So this is going to be it's going to be a partnership with us, with NS Labs, with Nigeria, and it's building their rainforest into our metaverse. So this is going to be one of the early introductions of our metaverse, building something cool like this for the people of Nigeria to appreciate, but then it's also for people around the world to appreciate. So I think that's one of the really big things that's going to happen from the trip. But beyond that, we're also looking to talk to them about our Pure Wallet and the Pure Wallet capabilities. If you think about countries like Nigeria, you think about countries like Indonesia, somewhere else we're going to be visiting. The Pure Wallet, as far as one of the use case for it, with its offline payment capability, I think fits into those countries very well because there is a lot of issues with infrastructure. You don't have quite the internet connection. There's also a lot of inequities out there as far as the underbanked and the underserviced. There isn't a lot of ATMs, for governments to put out fiat currency and put it out there in a physical form like we're used to seeing. It's also more expensive. So we feel like the Pure Wallet could be a very good solution for a country like Nigeria. They're one of the most populated countries in the world. They got a large population. There's a lot of structure that needs to be there to really help them grow. And the Pure Wallet, there's a lot of people in Nigeria that have a smartphone and they can download a Pure Wallet. And we're hoping to have a conversation with them, and we're hoping to go beyond just the Pure Wallet being able to work digital. But we'd love to even consider putting the fiat in there and letting their citizens use their local currency in the Pure Wallet.
That's interesting. So, okay, so how does that work exactly? Do you provide liquidity, or is it something that they can just maybe use their bank accounts to, or their debit cards to put money in themselves, and then as they're on the go, they make payments as they see fit?
Yeah, so we'll have to figure out how that part works. But yeah, technically, yeah, there's several different ways to make it work. It's just it's a matter of getting the currency into the wallet. But as far as the offline payment works, we'll put a similar mechanism like we have with the ETH. But a lot of it is going to be engaging them in this conversation and seeing if that's something that they would be open to, and if they are open to it, and maybe let us run a a test out there for them, we'd love to do that, and then we can put together some ways of making it happen. I think we'd really have to have a sit down conversation with them and see where the needs are and what the challenges are for us to really get to a specific solution on how to do it. But I think there's several ways to make it happen.
Okay, so you would essentially sit down with the powers that be and see how NS Labs, Cognito, and MMAI can help them. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, to get currency inside of a wallet, obviously it would require some kind of like bank connection, debit card connection, credit card connection, but then they might not everyone there will have those things. So it could even be something as simple as, I live here in California. So sometimes if I'm in certain parts of the town and I've been traveling towards Mexico a few times, and I pulled over into like little convenience stores, and I'll see that there's Western Union in there, right? And there's usually a long line because a lot of the residents of Mexico are sending, money back home to their family and their friends. So that's another way of people, walking into a physical place and Western Union's kind of an old technology, but we could even do something like that where people can walk in with fiat and maybe turn it into a teller and have it deposited into their app. So there's a lot of different ways of making that happen, but we'll have to, as far as how it actually works out, we won't know until we have that conversation with them and see if they're open, and then see what the challenges are in making that work.
I got you. Okay, so a little bit of a transition, but same topic essentially. Just like you may see a need for some places in Asia and in Nigeria, do you see any potential solutions to any issues that we have here in the States that maybe MMAI can help solve, help provide a solution for?
Yeah, you're talking about specifically with the wallet or just in general?
In general, or with the wallet.
Yeah.
Either or.
So with the wallet, I think one of the places, one of the things we have to remember is this is the first wallet that'll ever be introduced that has the offline payment capability. So that's a huge step forward. The connectivity is not such an issue in America as it is in other parts of the world, so that might be a lesser of a need. I think it still could serve a few people out here in some particular situations and so forth. Like if you think about convention centers, maybe traveling on planes or something like that. But, I think the feature we're going to put into it will allow people to go offline with their with just the wallet, so you can still have connectivity. I think that's a really nice nice feature for crypto users out here. They don't have to buy additional hardware in order to have that capability. It'll be built right into your wallet. And then beyond that, I think we're gonna take a poll and try to figure out what kind of features people would like to see in here. And then we'll try to build it out according to what people want. So we'll be proactive in reaching out to the community and getting some feedback and seeing what ideas people come up with.
Gotcha. And real quick, hey Richard, I see your request. Don't drop your hand or anything like that. Leave it the way it is. I'm gonna get to any requests like toward the end of the space. I just want to kind of get my questions out the way, because if any of you know me, my mind kind of works at 100 miles an hour sometimes. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get to your requests in a bit, Rich. All right, Augustine. So another question. So NS Labs, what is their viewpoint on blockchain first? Like Austin kind of, we had a couple conversations, and it's interesting because a lot of people in Web3, or at least in our space, right, on the DeFi side of things, a lot of people look at it as how can I make money? And it seems like NS Labs are looking at it as it was intended. How can blockchain help the world? Can you kind of cover a little bit on that and how NS Labs views the blockchain?
Yeah, definitely. So, NS Labs is a laboratory that's there located at the university, Kumho National Institute of Technology. And they were spun out of another laboratory that's been part of that university since, I believe, 2014. And they do a lot of work for, they're government funded, they're funded through the university. They've done a lot of work for the military. They've also worked for the private sector as well. They've done work for Samsung, they've done work for LG and a lot of other big companies out of Korea. But a lot of the work that they've done has been, government backed work, and they're looking for solutions for specific industries. And they don't necessarily take those solutions to market. Once they do the research, sometimes they'll do development, sometimes they'll just do research, and then they'll move that along through the channels into the specific industries that was looking for that kind of research, and that's how they've worked. They're also working with the academics, so the students that go to school there, the ones that get in their PhD program, are looking to earn their PhD. Once they earn their PhD, they're looking to get published, and they're looking to solve real world solutions. But they're looking at it from an academic level. So that's kind of how they really looked at things, is they look at it in a very high research development level. But once it got to the point of delivering it as far as something that industry is going to use, they kind of stepped away at that point, and other people took it over. So recently, NS Labs has started thinking about moving some of their Web3 solutions to market, and they wanted to partner up with people that can help them with that. And that's where MetaMonkey kind of came into the conversation. And I think we're a great fit for each other. So now, NS Labs is looking at it a little bit deeper than they did before. Now they're looking at, okay, we did the research, we did the development. I'll talk about the Pure Wallet just because, we're much closer to bringing that to market and putting it into use. Okay, so now that we're going to put it out there, what are the other features that people are going to want with our technology? Yes, we created a new, really cool technology, but now it's okay, it's going to get into users' hands. So what do users really want to see on top of just having the offline payment capability? So now we're looking at, okay, user experience, we're looking at what users want, and we're looking at putting those features in there and making sure that functionality works the way it was intended to work. And then also not just how it's intended to work, but how it's actually going to work in real life. Because you could plan something, but when you put it into practice, things might change, and you need to be a little nimble and adjust to it. So that's where some of the differences are going to come into play.
Gotcha. All right, let's pivot real quick because I know a lot of people here may not have seen Austin's stream earlier, and I apologize if you have to repeat yourself a little bit. But I wanted to talk about the NFTs with the update. So I know that you announced that you're still doing the 1,000 functional NFTs, where a portion of the revenue goes directly back to whoever holds said NFT. There's going to be 1,000 of them. 800 will essentially be on the open market if you meet certain criteria. 100 will be gifted to the top 100 wallets, none of which, a reminder to everyone, no wallet is held by any dev on this team. So we'll throw that out there. And another 100, correct me if I'm wrong, Augustine, will be gifted to community members. But if you'd like, I kind of want you to break it down for me a little bit better so that everyone can understand exactly what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. So early on when we were launching our product and we were going into the pre-sale, we had talked about our NFT program. and we're going to do a one-time 1,000 mint of the NFTs. So basically, yeah, what you said is absolutely correct. So 80% of the NFTs are going to be for sale. 20% of the NFTs are going to be gifted to our community, and there's like the first 100 NFTs. And this will all be available on May 4th because that's about the 6-month period from when we launched. So on May 4th, 100 NFTs will be rewarded to the top 100 holders. So the top 100 holders at that date will receive the minted personalized NFT as a gift from us. The second 100 NFTs are also going to be an appreciation award NFTs. And those 100 will be awarded to the next 100 members who are dedicated to our community. And they've accumulated, they've held some tokens, but they don't break into the top 100. But they've been very active with us. They believed in us. They purchased the MMAI token. They've held it, and then they've also been active in the community. So we're basically looking at a way of rewarding, not just the top holders, but we're also looking at rewarding some of the smaller holders, but that are very active and that have supported us in more than just purchasing and buying our tokens. And then the remainder of the 800 NFTs, those are the ones that are going to go to be available for sale. And we have 2 tiers of qualification. The first qualifiers get first crack at it. The second qualifiers will get the next crack at it. But the first chance to buy will be for those who were in the pre-sale. They purchased and accumulated at least 5 ETH worth of MMAI, and they held on to the MMAI. So that's the first set of qualifiers. The second set of qualifiers will be ones who purchase and accumulate a minimum of 5 ETH worth of MMI and maintain a minimum of 5 ETH for 4 months prior to the NFT public sale.
Okay, so I think with the same question we had maybe the first time we had the space, what happens if the price action, let's say I purchase 5 ETH worth right now, right, with a separate wallet. If the price action for whatever reason drops to, let's say, 4.5 during the time frame before you actually look at the wallets to see if you'd like to see who qualifies, am I now disqualified from from receiving that free NFT?
So if you bought 5 ETH worth, but now the value of it is lower than 5 ETH.
Correct.
Okay. That is an interesting question, and I will put some more clarity on how we're going to do that. I think we're going to, before that date comes around, we'll have to kind of outline that out. So it's a valid question, Cool. I think we just need to put some very clear rules on that before it happens. And this might be something that, maybe closer to that date, because a lot of things can happen with the value of ETH between now and then. So it's hard to predict the future, but I will put clarity out before that date comes around. So if there is some big movement on ETH and it disqualifies people, we'll take a look at it and see what we can do to make sure that people that bought it and held on to it aren't punished because the ETH price changed suddenly.
Okay, cool. Because I think a lot of people will be not for nothing, they'll be pretty pissed off if if they bought 5 ETH worth and at some point it was just a hair below. Maybe my suggestion, if you're, I know you guys are open to suggestions quite often. Maybe as long as they hit that 5 ETH at some point, and as long as they don't sell at any point after that, maybe that should be automatic qualification for the NFT. But again, I'm not sure if that's going to work out for you guys. But That's the first thing that kind of pops into my head when it comes to that specifically.
Yeah, I think from that
Um,
suggestion, it definitely meets the spirit of what we're trying to do. But I'll put more clarity on it as we get closer to that date and make sure that if there is a situation like that, we kind of have the rules in place beforehand.
Got you. So I know you said you didn't want to discuss the price early on Austin Stream, but I had a question regarding like the secondary market. Um, will MMAI receive any percentage of secondary sales for the NFTs? Let's say if I decide to, for whatever reason, I won't, by the way, if I decide to sell my NFT to anybody else or gift it to anybody else, would MMAI receive any portion of that purchase, or is it just completely whoever owns it and it's just 100% the secondary market?
Yeah, so I believe, and I'll have to clarify this. I need to talk to our people about this, but I believe once it gets into your hands, it's going to be your NFT to hold and do what you want with. But I'll have to sit down with the team and just clarify on that.
Okay. And do you have any artists on hand? Oh, well, I guess with that same question, is NS Labs the ones that are going to be producing the NFTs, whether it be the art for it or the actual smart contract that goes along with the NFT?
Yes, it will be produced by NS Labs, and we're still looking at how the artwork and everything else is going to get produced along with it.
Gotcha. Okay. I want to let's move on to the blockchain itself. Hopefully that clears up any questions anybody has about the NFTs, because I know a few people wanted some clarity on that. And if not, I'll be taking requests in maybe about 15, 20 minutes or so. I just want to get my questions out the way. When it comes to the actual blockchain, I know you guys are doing proof of work first as a layer 2. And some people don't understand why, because of what happened with Ethereum recently. A lot of people kind of assume that proof of stake is just better because Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake. But a lot of people also don't realize is that a lot of other blockchains that are essentially faster and more efficient than Ethereum, they use proof of work because it's kind of tried and true. So what is the mind state behind, besides what I said already, what's the mind state behind launching your blockchain as a proof of work versus a proof of stake?
Yeah, so Ethereum, early on, I think Ethereum stated that they would move to proof of stake somewhere down the road. But there are concerns when you move to proof of stake as far as like centralization concerns, people being able to control by how many, ETH that they control and so forth. So it's something that a lot of blockchains will not want to do until they're mature and they hit a certain level. Because the proof of work is tried and true, and we know that it works very well. But with proof of stake, there are some concerns about parties being able to control how that blockchain thinks and works. So that's why Ethereum waited as long as they did. So, and like you said, the other thing, the reason you want to go to something like proof of stake is trying to make something more efficient, more cost efficient, performance, better performance. So we feel like, the laboratories we work with, these are research laboratories, right? So they do their research first. They find out where the shortcoming is, and then they try to come up with a theoretical solution to something. And then once they come up with that theoretical solution, then they try to put that into implementing it. So there is a white paper that NS Lab published on basically doing the mining for blockchain and coming up with a new system that makes it faster, makes it perform better. So that's what our goal is. Our goal is to introduce a new way of mining, doing the proof of work that can deliver some of the benefits you get from the proof of stake of improving performance without giving up some of the other rewards you get by doing the proof of work. You know, the reason the proof of work works is because it's exactly that. It requires energy. You know, lazy people will always take things because they're lazy and it's easy to take. But when you have to go out there and you have to work for something, there's less chances of someone coming along and, you know, gaming the system, right? Just basically getting a free handout while everyone else has to work for it. And that's kind of what proof of work is about. We're just trying to figure out a better, more efficient way of doing that.
Gotcha. Would it be possible to do any sort of mining with our devices, like let's say our laptops, our cell phones, maybe our secondary phones, whatever the case is? Is that a possibility at all?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, and that's what we're looking at. So we're doing we're doing research into that, and you know, in about 8 months from now, we're going to have our blockchain out there. So I think well before that, I'll be able to make some announcements and let you guys know what the requirements might be to do some of this mining stuff. But to get into details about that, Cool, I think it's going to take us at least a few months to get to that point. But I think as far as possibility goes, it's there.
Gotcha. And Fadaka, my brethren just popped in. So what's going on, Fadaka? How you doing, man?
Sorry about being late. I'm having some Wi-Fi issues over here, so my connection's it's not the best. I've been trying to fix it for the past 30 minutes, but hopefully it's last enough to kind of get us through the space. I mean, get me through the space. But yeah, I'm glad to be here and glad to see everyone's in here.
It's all good, man. So at some point you might need that Pure wallet just in case you need to make any offline transactions, huh?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the attractive points of the whole project itself. You know, I'm interested to see how that works out. I think it would be beneficial, not just for us in the Western world, for also people in the developing countries that don't have access to internet. I think, you know, having some sort of a wallet like that would be useful to everybody, because, you know, we can't always depend on Wi-Fi because, you know, it's just not reliable.
Exactly. But hopefully you don't get disconnected anytime soon. And if you want to pop in for like, you already know what it is. Just throw up yeah, or text me actually. Either way. But all right. Augustine, by the way, is it possible to get Dr. Kim in on a space? He's a very intriguing person in general, and I always had this thing like when I first read about him and what he does and his background, I would love to get him in on a space. Is that possible at all?
Yeah, I think it's possible. So let me talk to Dr. Kim. He is a pretty busy man, but I think we can figure out maybe a time that we can do that. But let me talk to him first before I commit to anything for him, and I'll get back to you.
Gotcha. And yeah, so Fadaka bringing up me bringing up the offline transaction. For clarity, there's a gentleman that comes in our space every now and then. He's not here right now, but maybe he'll listen to the playback. He wanted to get more clarification on what's actually happening in the background. I know let's say if you're going from ETH to ETH, your purchase goes from ETH, it goes to an offline state, which the goal would be to have that be an MMAI token, and then it transfers back into ETH on the other end. Is that action in itself a smart contract? How does that work exactly? What's like the technical, what's actually happening is essentially the question. Because a lot of people still don't necessarily understand that part of it.
Yeah, so I'll explain that, but I'm gonna put up a couple of things on our website. So one is going to be the white paper the journal entry that was on the Pure wallet. So people can go there and read that. And then we're also going to put up a step-by-step kind of tutorial on how to use the wallet. And then I'll kind of go into, there'll be some images there and I'll go into how it actually works. And I think I'll put together maybe a YouTube video that I can post on our YouTube channel where I'll kind of talk through that. But I can definitely talk through it right now without having the illustration stuff in front of me. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Cool N Criss. So the way it works is we are utilizing a smart contract in there. So in the Pure wallet, you actually have two wallets. You have your ETH wallet. Okay, so right now we're only supporting ETH. I think in the future we can support other, other chains. So, but right now it's ETH. So you'll have your ETH wallet, and then you have your token wallet. So your ETH wallet is exactly what it sounds like. To do anything inside of the ETH wallet, you have to have internet connection. So if, let's just say, for example, you have 5 ETH sitting in your Pure wallet and you want to convert 1 ETH into your token wallet. That's your offline wallet. So we have a feature in Pure wallet that's called top up. So you would go to the top up and you could top up any amount you want from your ETH to your token. So let's just say, for example's sake, I want to take 1 ETH and I want to add it to my token wallet as a top up. So the way the Pure wallet's going to work is it's going to take the 1 ETH out of your ETH wallet, and it's going to convert it into a token and put it into your token wallet. And the way it does that is through a smart contract that sits inside of Pure wallet itself. So once you do that pass, that 1 ETH, so you had a 5 ETH balance, now that 1 ETH has been taken out of your 5 ETH balance, and it's now 4 ETH in your ETH wallet. Previously, your token wallet had 0 balance in it, but once you topped up, the only thing that happened is none of your money disappeared, but your money got moved from your checking account to your savings account, or vice versa. Just as an analogy. So basically we took 1 ETH and converted into a token, and now that token is sitting inside your token wallet. Now, if you go offline, you can actually make a payment with the token wallet. So when we use a smart contract, that when we sent that ETH to that token wallet, there's a hash that's created and it's written into that smart contract. So it's sitting there as a token. Now, when you're in the offline state, let's just say you're going to a fair somewhere, it's going to be on the street, and you're going to pay someone, as long as you're within Bluetooth range, you can pay someone. They also need to have the Pure wallet as well. But then the connection will be made, and you can choose who you want to connect with, and you'll send the payment, they'll have to receive it. And then once they do, that payment is pretty much instantaneous. So that 1 ETH now has left your wallet and it's gone into their wallet. So 100% you no longer have that ETH in your wallet, in your token wallet, or in your ETH wallet, and the other person has it in their token wallet. So now when that person gets back to internet connection, that token can sit in there as long as they would like, but when they choose to take it out of the token wallet and put it into their ETH wallet, they can do that. So you can choose when the gas is cheaper and make that transaction happen. But at that point, the transaction will be completed. It'll be taken out of the recipient's token wallet and it'll be put into their ETH wallet. Now it's sitting in their wallet as that single ETH minus the gas fees.
Gotcha. And I mean, I knew most of that. I love that analogy that you said, though. It's almost like transferring it from your checking account to your savings account. In that state, nothing happens, nothing changes. You're just moving it from state to state. So I like that you kind of made that analogy. It's actually a pretty good analogy. Okay, so a small pivot again. How can Cognito, like the business itself, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
It's Cognigo.
I still probably won't pronounce it right, to
All
be
right.
honest with
Yeah,
you.
Cognigo. It's just we work in AI technology, so it's a play off the word cognitive. And
Gotcha.
that's where the name comes from.
Gotcha. So how does your company, I know what NS Labs are doing for you. How does Cognito do for NS Labs? The YouTube, I believe it was Chaka. Chaka was going on. I see him down there too. Austin was on Chaka's YouTube channel last night, which was very informative. Besides it being very chill, it was very informative. And one of the things he kind of alluded to was, or I think somebody asked in the chat. I don't remember. I don't exactly remember how it went, but you guys could probably help with facial recognition technology, or maybe the AI technology can also help with verifying voting if any country or state kind of like grabs onto that part of the Pure Wallet. How else can NS Labs assist? Excuse me. How else can Cognigo assist NS Labs the same way you guys are partnered with each other? So I'm just kind of curious, like, how does that partnership work?
Yeah, so Cognigo is the parent company of MMAI, and Cognigo is a business that's been around for 15 years, and it's generating revenue, and it's selling business. So when we did MMAI, the way I basically positioned the two companies for is one works in today's technologies, and the other one's working in Web3 style technologies. So when we're looking at Web3, so the stuff we're talking about is blockchain, we're talking about metaverse, we're talking about the next generation of AI, neural networks, looking at AI, how it's going to relate to blockchain and how it's also going to relate to metaverse. So a lot of that is going to fall under the MetaMonkey AI platform, and that's where we're going to pass that stuff through. But then there's also some Web3 technology that's not going to be well suited for MMAI. It'll be better suited for Cognigo. Like, for example, we want to have some industry solutions for the blockchain, that's not necessarily crypto. And it might use more of the traditional sales method, and we might be going after real world businesses, and they're not so much in the crypto space, and we might have to take a different approach with them. So Cognigo will help deliver that. Outside of that, where Cognigo is really going to come into play is, we have a decent amount of developers, and we've got a decent amount of customer service people. We've got a decent amount of support people for sales and so forth. So as we mature this technology, so as Pure Wallet gets out there, and NS Labs is going to have very much be involved in the beginning as far as improving it, staying on top of if there's ever any issues with it, how do we address those issues? But as it moves forward, NS Labs should be focused on moving the technology forward, and they should have less concerns about trying to do the normal customer service type of stuff. So Cognigo has the infrastructure set up where we can transition and handle that type of work when it's required. Because if we do get to the point where we have 1 million people using our Pure Wallet, it's going to require customer service in order to support that.
I like how you guys keep referring to the fact that, at some point you might have a million people using it. And it's not necessarily a guarantee, but I love the confidence behind that, because to me, it sounds like that's what you're shooting for. And if you're shooting for that, then that makes all the difference. I have a question from Telegram sent to me from Fan. So it goes, if I have a pre-sale wallet, can I combine/add wallets to qualify for the NFT rewards?
Yeah, so we did say it's an cumulative amount. So yeah, I think if it's something that you had, we'll have to take a look at it, make sure that there's no, people aren't taking advantage of that situation. But yeah, if it's your wallet and you accumulated it over, over that period, then you're going to qualify.
Gotcha. Question about the taxes. I believe the answer is yes, but have the transfer taxes been taken off?
So today I did take off the first 30 days we had the 18% tax for selling. So that was taken off earlier today. So that was done. The transfer tax has not been taken off yet, and we're keeping that on for the time being because some of the exchanges, they do the taxes a little bit differently. So we just want to take a closer look at that and make sure that that us taking off the transfer tax isn't gonna affect that.
Okay, if I'm hearing that correctly, you don't want to take off the transfer tax on the DeFi side, and maybe the centralized side still has it on. Am I hearing that properly?
It has to do with the moving the money from centralized to decentralized or vice versa. So we just want to make sure that people that are buying it from our DEX tool are in this level playing field with people that are buying it from the or selling it on the centralized.
Gotcha. So Richard requested earlier, but he sent me a DM. He wants to know about exchanges since we're there. Let's see. There was no specifics. He just said, "Can you ask about exchanges?" I guess from my own understanding, Probit has kind of been looming a little bit. Is there any sort of time frame that you may know of when Probit purchases will be available?
Yeah, so we're very close to getting to the end of Probit. The trip to Korea kind of slowed down the Probit just because I had other things going on out there, and that's where my focus was at. But I had a conversation with Probit earlier this morning. I'm just trying to get a couple other things ironed out with them. But as far as us being on the exchange and us being approved, all that stuff is in place. We're just lining everything up before we actually flip the switch. So it's just a matter of us ironing out a couple of wrinkles, then we'll be able to go live. How soon that'll happen, they might be able to make the announcement within maybe a day or two, and then it's kind of on their timeline as far as how quickly they could actually launch us. So we'll have to see.
Gotcha. And I'm assuming Probit won't be launched with the taxes currently, but is there a specific timeline with the 8% transfer taxes being taken off? I know you said you still have to kind of look through everything, but is there any specific timeline that you may have in mind, like within the next few hours, within the next couple of days? How does that look right now?
Yeah, so right now, I'm not exactly sure, but we will make an announcement on it shortly, probably within the next couple of days.
Gotcha. So I'm assuming Fan and Twiz is already on it, but maybe that should be posted up in Telegram and even on Twitter so that people don't lose any percentage of their transfer tokens if they wanted to transfer anything. Okay, is it possible to talk about marketing at this moment when it comes to Asia specifically, or even Nigeria? Besides the marketing that you have going on right now with influencers, what does marketing look like for MMAI in the near future?
Yeah, so we want to be very aggressive with marketing. When we came out here, there was a few things we said. One was we're going to be aggressive with exchanges. So we went out there and we've signed up a few exchanges. We're still trying to get some more out there. We said we were going to be aggressive with the technology. We're going to bring out I know the Pure Wallet got delayed a little bit on the delivery, and I know it's in Google's review right now. It's taking a little bit longer than we thought. But this first version of the Pure Wallet we really brought it out for the community so the community can see the offline payment in action and us prove that it's there. V2 is going to be coming out shortly, probably. If I had to take a guess, I'd say roughly 60 days with some new features that is going to make this wallet be usable by people here in the U.S. I think just the fact that you can go cold with the wallet would be a huge thing for that. So marketing is something we've always said we're going to be working towards. So we've got a lot of good things working. I mean, we just got back from Korea. We made a couple of big announcements out there, like our layer 2 solution. Now we're planning a trip to Indonesia. We're going to be planning a trip to Nigeria. We're going to be working with some local universities and local cities, also with Nigeria, with the government there. So we have a lot of good things working. So we're working on getting our marketing. So when all these things happen, we can get them posted up in real time. We're going to put them out on press releases. We'll get them out on the wires. We're going to try to get our articles printed in some of the, better read financial pages out there. So we're going to try to get us the exposure that needs to be there and spend the marketing dollars so people outside of our community can also start hearing about MMAI. One of the reasons we went to these central exchanges is because we did want to bring other people that maybe don't hang around DEXs, maybe that aren't on the same marketing channels that we're on, so we can get in front of them. So I think opening up new channels to market to them is going to be very important. So yeah, I'm working on getting some of those channels set up, and hopefully we'll have that pretty well put together through this month.
Gotcha. A lot of people in this space believe that marketing is very important, and I believe it's very important as well. I just hope that it's strategic. I hate when I don't like when projects kind of just throw money at influencers. They just kind of, they just throw money at things or repeat the same things over and over when there's no traction there. So hopefully you guys do some out of the box thinking and are being very consistent with that. I'm gonna start taking questions from anyone that has any. If you want to throw it in the chat or under the actual post. If you want to come up to request a mic, you can do that as well. But Twiz, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Great. Thanks for giving me a chance to ask a question. It was something that I saw brought up when you were speaking with Austin earlier, and I think it's important. The question was basically, how is the NFT process or the kickbacks for the NFT, or I don't know what the right word you want to use for it is, but how are they not a security? Because it sounded like profit sharing, basically. And if that's the case, that's a security, I believe, by definition. So I'm just wondering, is that the case? Are you going to register as a security? Is it not because there's something I don't know about it? Help me out.
Yeah, so we have talked to our attorneys about this, and it is going to be a rewards program. So we feel confident that we don't have to register this as a security.
So calling it an awards program means what, though?
The rewards program is just the it's the people that are holding our tokens. We're going to reward them with the NFTs, and we're going to reward them with buybacks from the burning of the tokens, and reward them with the shares of the profit from the technologies.
I guess that's my concern though. But saying you're going to share profits, doesn't that phrase alone make it a security? I believe I trust your lawyer, right? They obviously know more than I do. I'm confused on it and trying to wrap my head around it. So especially when we're in chat and people are asking these questions, I can kind of fire back and let them know exactly what the deal is.
Yeah, I hear you. I will get you a little bit more clarity on that.
It'd be greatly appreciated, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Twiz.
Thank you, Tuaz. I appreciate that too, because I had a question based on that as well. How often? So, okay, for anybody listening that didn't listen in on the stream today with Austin, 30% of the revenue would be split into two separate rewards. 15% will be a buyback and burn. The other 15% will be shared amongst 1,000 NFTs. Question about that though, how often will those purchases and distributions be made? Would it be a quarterly thing? Would it be a monthly? Like how often do you see that those purchases and distribution actually happen?
I would say annually, but we will announce that as we get closer to making that decision. But most likely, it'll be annually.
Gotcha. All right, a little off the cuff, man. How was your trip? I didn't even ask you that. I apologize if that's kind of rude, but how was your trip overall? Because it seemed like a cool trip.
Yeah, it was a great trip. I'll tell you, Korea is a beautiful country. I mean, it's very mountainous. It's gorgeous out there, extremely green, very clean, just a beautiful place to walk around at. People are extremely considerate. The food is amazing, just amazing, really good food. We had some really good seafood. We went to this, Austin will probably share some of the pictures, but we went to this amazing fish market that was just huge. And we ate so well while we were out there. So the trip was really good. And then the real thing that really topped the trip off was the reason why we went there, which was, to sit down with NS Labs and go through our plan on how we're going to move forward. And it was just really exciting to meet some of the professors, some of the PhD students, even some of the undergrad, and sitting there in a few workshops and working through the technology that I've been working on and figuring out a way of how we're going to take it to market. So that was super exciting for us.
What was your favorite part of the trip?
I would say probably the 2 days that we spent at NS Labs and at the university and just meeting the people there and going through the technology and talking to some of the people that helped put that technology together. So that was pretty exciting.
So Austin kind of described NS Labs as like a pretty big university with a lot of accolades, kind of like all over the place. What do you think, from what you've seen or what you've been told, what do you think their biggest achievement is so far?
It's hard for me to say because I don't think I know enough about all their achievements, but yeah, they're really impressive. I mean, if you see the people they've worked with on some of the project they worked on, it's very impressive. I'm just impressed with the quality of students they have there, the guidance that I think Dr. Kim has provided, because he's put together an amazing laboratory and they've worked on so many wide projects. So I think just the sheer scope of what they've done and in so many different areas. We've been talking about the Web3 stuff, but they also work quite a bit with the Defense Department. They work in IoT. We haven't really talked too much about IoT, but they're also working in the mining. So just the scope of everything that they're doing is what really impressed me.
Gotcha. NS Lab seems like such an impressive facility or university, I should say. I definitely wish I can go there one day. And when I do make a trip, because I plan on making a trip to South Korea at some point, I definitely would love to see NS Labs. I hope it's accessible to your everyday kind of traveler or tourist, I should say. But with that, excuse me. Hold on. Daniel just popped up. Did he drop down? I think he just dropped down. Multiple blockchains are going to be produced through NS Labs for MMAI. What exactly is the purpose? Is that are you going to outsource? Not outsource. Excuse me. Are you going to be licensing some of those blockchains to other maybe business partners, or what's the thought process behind producing multiple blockchains?
Yeah, so even in the crypto space, when you look at blockchains, blockchains are created for some specific use case. So you have XRP, you got different blockchains out there that have different use cases. So we're looking for a layer 2 solution, and we're going to be looking at a few use cases that we feel like is important that we can deliver on. So that's why I think we're not going to limit ourselves to just one layer 2 solution. There might be more than there'll be more than one, but there could be few, and that's going to have to do with certain areas that we're going to see that there's a use case for. I've talked to you quite a bit about this, Cool, and I know you were pretty intrigued by this, but there's more use for blockchain than just the crypto side of it, than the cryptocurrency. So we're looking at some blockchain solutions even outside of cryptocurrency as well.
Absolutely. I love the potential of what blockchain has to offer. It could be anything from, secured messages from one person to another, or it could be anything as big as what XRP is doing with the banking system. So I love the potential of the blockchain, and the more and more I study it, the more and more I just kind of have wild ideas. The bigger the potential is, because essentially what blockchain technology is doing is a shift. It's moving what we know as Web 2 to Web 3, where data is looked at in a completely different way. And on top of that, because of the technology, it can just produce more and different and bigger entities. Like I like to say, like I think I stole it from Austin, but think bigger. Like blockchain is something of a beast that I feel like a lot of people still haven't really wrapped their heads around. And especially again in our little sector of DeFi, a lot of people are just thinking money when they should be thinking technology.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cool. And I think just over the past few weeks of us talking about this, I think it's really opened a lot of people's eyes to think how much more blockchain can be. In the crypto world, everyone's just had their focus there, and for good reasons, right? Honestly, blockchain was introduced to the world as a cryptocurrency, so it totally makes sense. But if you think about it, blockchain is really a technology, and the crypto is just one way that technology presents itself in real life use cases. But the whole idea of the blockchain is, the block is the data, and the chain is the truth. It's where, hey, you can believe this. This is where this this data is what it really is, what it's represented to be. So that could be a ledger that counts money that's being pushed back and forth, but it could be many other things like medical records.
Right. Because information, as we all know, information is king. And something like medical records is very important. I used to work at a hospital. Fadaka actually works at a hospital. And if you guys have ever just seen a glimpse of a medical records department, it's actually insane how much paperwork they actually still have. They can save things on on computers and hard drives all they want, but it's kind of wild that they still put paper to pen when it comes to just saving anybody's medical records. So the blockchain, you can have something in your back pocket that can verify all your information without having to go get medical records. That's another thing. If you ever had anybody sick in the hospital or maybe had a childbirth, having access to medical records without having to request it is actually very important. If you know, you know. If you've been through that before, it's actually something that hopefully the blockchain can solve and solve quickly, because that is a huge issue that needs a solution right now.
Just to kind of like add to that. I mean, every now and then at the hospital, we would have alerts about medical records going missing. So it shows that, you know, to have something where it can be tracked and monitored, and you know it's safe, it's definitely going to be a game changer. Just like Cool mentioned, the paperwork in the hospital is just ridiculous. You know, like there's, you know, you would think as of now we would have kind of moved past the paperwork era, but it's still so much entrenched into the hospital tradition. And this is new to me that that blockchain could actually, it can help. I mean, all I know blockchain to be is something in crypto. And I think this is the benefits of coming to spaces like this, to know that this technology can be used outside crypto. And I think hospital is definitely, you know, it would definitely make a difference in terms of how we store patients' data, and how it will be safer as well, and it will be easy access. So yeah, you know, this is the benefits of coming to spaces like this, because I didn't even know there could be other uses for blockchain except for crypto. So I'm kind of fascinated to kind of indulge in that knowledge, and obviously get more information on how that could be used in that everyday living.
Yeah, think about this, Fadaka. So as we go into the metaverse and we start living in a more immersive world, you know, think about the real world today. One of the big issues we have in the real world today is identity theft, right? So identity theft is a real thing out here. Someone can access your, you know, bank account. They can, you know, maybe, I don't know, do something with your mortgage or something like that. So identity theft is a real thing. Well, if you think about identity theft and you think about it in a metaverse kind of scenario, that's going to be a big problem there also. So what could be something that solves that identity issue in the metaverse? The blockchain can do that. So we're looking at the blockchain much bigger than just the you know, the crypto side of it. Obviously, it's important on the crypto side, and we're going to play there. But we're also going to try to, you know, we don't want to, where there's already a lot of competition, like, for example, with the Pure Wallet, we are going to put some features in there that's going to make this into a really nice feature crypto wallet. But our goal isn't to become the greatest and best crypto wallet out there. Even if we tried very hard to do that and we achieved it, that doesn't guarantee we're going to get any percentage of the market that we want to get, right? Because there's other wallets out there that have been adopted. People are used to using them, and to get people to transition over is going to be difficult. But if we walk into something new, if we give people a new reason to download our wallet, so for example, hey, you can have a wallet that you can go cold by just turning it off. You don't have to buy extra hardware. That'll give reason to people to buy our Pure Wallet. If we can say, hey, you can use our wallet and make offline payments, that opens up a huge new part of the world that wasn't, you know, that wasn't open before, because you needed to have internet connection. So now we can get downloads from millions of people. I've jumped off the 1 million, Cool, and I've gone to millions now. But that gives us an opportunity to get millions of people on this wallet. And if we get users on the wallet, then it's going to be great for, you know, great for the company, and it's going to help us roll out even more technology.
That's a fact. Go ahead, Fadaka.
No, I was just gonna say, as Augustine was mentioning the wallet, it kind of reminds me of how the Cash App, what's it called? Is it Cash App? Yeah, it kind of created its own lane, you know, outside of the banking environment that people was drawn to, and because people needed that kind of like other side of being able to kind of like send money to each other without the banking system. So I think what you mentioned about having a wallet that might create a separate lane and that people will also be drawn to, I think there's a lane for it. People just need to be aware of how productive and how beneficial it will be to the society. I don't think you would have any issues with people getting wallets like that. So it's a great site to have, and I kind of appreciate hearing that knowledge because we need to kind of come away from the basics of the NFTs and the wallets after wallets that doesn't really offer much. But to hear you kind of like explain what the vision is, it's refreshing because I feel like it would create its own lane, and I think people will jump on board of it because they'll find it useful.
Yep, thank you. I totally agree with that.
That's a fact. And even with me, like at this point I use 3 separate accounts essentially to make transactions with my customers. I use Cash App, I use Venmo, and I use Zelle. So, if there's a lane and you can market it well, I can see this doing very well because you're solving 2 huge issues, and we haven't even touched, the voting potential with the Pure Wallet. But speaking of which, with the partnerships with NS Labs, I want to go back a little bit of it again. LG and Samsung, that those 2 names come up quite a bit, and I know that there are some professors, there are some gentlemen that shifted from LG and Samsung and have actually taught at the university. Is there any way, shape, or form or partnership forming with LG or Samsung based on that alone, or is that just NS Labs?
Right now it's just NS Labs, but I think, when you have these type of connections, we'll always look to see if there's some synergy between us and see what we can work on together. I think a lot of people don't really realize when you get into the technology business and you look at all these big companies, you'll be amazed how many different things large companies have kind of worked on together. So, I don't put us anywhere near the realm of large companies out there, but I'd love to think of us like that one day. But if we have something unique that we can work with other people on, I think people will take a look at us and will consider working with us. And I think that's one of the things that NS Labs does for MetaMonkey AI. It gives us some real credibility and some technology that other people just don't have. I mean, I haven't really gone into all the technology yet, but trust me, we have more stuff coming down the road beyond the Pure Wallet and the few things that we're talking about. And some of it's going to be very, very unique, very different, very forward thinking. So I think anytime you're delivering products like that, possibility of working with different people definitely multiplies.
Okay. Has social media integration in terms of blockchain, has that ever crossed your mind, or has that ever crossed has that come across NS Labs researching, excuse me?
So as far as I know, NS Labs hasn't done any specific research into that field, but I could be wrong on that because they might have, and I just don't know about it. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some use cases for blockchain and for some of the other technologies, I think on the social media marketing and so forth. So that is something we can look at, but as far as if they've done anything there yet, I don't believe so.
Gotcha. And we have you for about maybe 15 minutes more. I don't want to hold you too long. But like I said, I just wrote down a bunch of questions. So I appreciate you even for taking the time out to entertain my wild imagination. Speaking of blockchains in general, right? The idea that blockchains are here to essentially improve the world stays on the forefront of my mind. With Dr. Kim, essentially, well, is Dr. Kim basically the head of NS Labs? Let me start with that question.
Yes, he is. He's the head of NS Labs, correct?
Okay, gotcha. So what is Dr. Kim's, I'm kind of asking you to speak for him a little bit, but maybe you guys have a little bit more insight than me, but what is his vision for NS Labs and MMAI?
Yeah, so he's super excited to be working with us. This is a new chapter for him. You know, I was talking about earlier about how the different work that they've done. So this is the first time he's really stepped into a role where he's going to be delivering the final product to market with MetaMonkey. So he's super excited about that. And you know, early on, Cool, I know you and I were on a couple of AMAs, and you came up and asked some questions. So one of the factors that really drives Dr. Kim is, you know, he wants to grow his laboratories out. He wants to go into the developing world. He wants to bring some of those students into Korea, and he wants to educate them at his lab and get them doctors and move them forward, and then maybe even open up new laboratories in other countries. Indonesia is a country that he's very close to, and he loves the students there. He thinks they're amazing. You know, they're cutting edge. He loves their hard work and their dedication. And he also knows it's very underserviced when it comes to the population and the access they have to that type of education. So that's another real driving factor for him. So, you know, the goal of MMAI is to deliver this technology that NS Labs is going to help us to create, and then it's to share the revenue from that technology back with Dr. Kim and his laboratories, and then help them to grow. And that's only going to help our future as far as what we're trying to work towards, which is, you know, the metaverse and just a more immersive, the next level of the internet. So that's kind of where I think at a baseline where his goal is at. I think on another level, you know, he loves this technology, and he loves watching us, you know, watching his students create this stuff and helping them, guide them along. And I think now he's excited about working with us to take it to market.
That's dope. I love that he enjoys working with actual young people, because, well, first of all, they are going to be the future, right? And a lot of times they have a bigger imagination than a lot of other people, a lot of older people. They can see things that others can't. Their foresight is ridiculous. So I love that Dr. Kim is passionate about what the future holds, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency and Web3 in general. Is there anything in the works when it comes to gaming at all? Not necessarily MMAI, but maybe providing a platform for maybe any other projects?
Yeah, I mean, we're open to it right now. There's nothing specifically in play that we can say, hey, we're going to be a player here. But, you know, the way I look at it, Cool, is one of the things that's really going to drive the metaverse, and it's going to drive gaming, is a couple of things. One is AI, deep learning neural networks, and that's a space that we do work in. And another one is blockchain. So I think gaming is going to benefit from both of those. Now, will we ever get our AI and our blockchain that is going to be a leader in gaming? I don't think that's one of the places we have our focus on right now, saying that that's a targeted spot, that's where we want to go at. But if we do develop a certain type of AI that handles a situation in the gaming scenario, I don't think we would get engaged directly, because gaming takes a lot to make it happen. But we could share our our technology with them and let them use it as an API consumption model.
Gotcha. And which would also create an extra stream of revenue for you guys. So speaking of revenue, how much do you see MMAI, Pure Wallet, on the partnership with NS Labs? How much benefit do you see as a businessman? What is your projections? Is that something that you can share with us right now? But I had this thing in the back of my head, like, this needs to be profitable for you in order for you to still have the same drive in the next 6 months. So what do you see this doing in the coming years?
Yeah, I'm very excited about the the revenue possibilities here. This is where the world is moving to. It's one time the world was moving towards the internet, and we eventually got there. And when it blew up in the 90s, it blew up big, and then it readjusted itself in the 2000s, and things move forward. So one thing we do know about technology is it tends to move forward. And one of the things that we get with NS Labs is we're on the cutting edge of some of that technology. The Pure Wallet is a perfect example of that. It's something that for 15 years that digital currency has been around, no one's really considered how to do it and how to make it happen. But NS Labs was able to put that together. So yeah, I think the potential for revenue is through the roof, and I think the way we're achieving our technology is a very affordable way for a company like MetaMonkey to get there, to work with research labs that can provide us this kind of technology, and then we'll support them in the back end. And the more success we have, the more success the lab's going to have. More success the lab has, the more success we're going to have. And along with that, with us, I'm bringing along the community as well. When I say us, because we're gonna, the team right now in South Korea is looking at ways of how we can integrate our tokens as a utility in some of the technologies that we bring out. As much of the technologies that we bring out in certain areas, it might not be a good fit. There could be other things that come into play. But whenever we can, we want to put that in there. So we do want to create this as a win-win situation for us, MetaMonkey, for the community, riding along with MetaMonkey, and then also for NS Labs, them creating great technology, us giving back to them. And that was one of the reasons why we went out there and we wanted to formalize our agreement. People in our over here know that we've had these agreements in place with NS Labs for a couple months now, but we wanted to go there, formalize it. We wanted to show our commitment to NS Labs and let them accelerate some of the technology. So we went over there and dropped off a check to them to put a down payment on the technologies that not only that they provided to us. I think the money we gave them is not even close to the type of technology they provided for us, but it's to help them accelerate the teams that we have working on the technologies with us. And that's why we're going to go to Indonesia with them. That's why we're going to go to Nigeria with them. We're going to work on some blockchain MOUs with some local governments. We even talked to a couple of cities in South Korea at that point. So there's conversations being done there. We're going to work on that rainforest. I mean, how cool is that to say, hey, you got a Nigerian rainforest in your metaverse, right? It's such a cool project. It's going to get so many eyes. You're talking about marketing. So, as we get close to delivering that, imagine how we can use that for marketing. You get more eyes on MMAI. And then they're going to say, hey, this is the same company that delivered that off payment wallet. And if we get adoption somewhere like Indonesia and Nigeria, and we can say, hey, we got 1 million users in less than X amount of months, people are really going to sit up and pay attention to us and be like, wow, they're really doing some things. And I think when all of this stuff comes together, people are going to look at NS Labs and say, wow, these guys were really on the cutting edge. Like they knew exactly what they were doing, and they're prolific. I mean, when you look at Dr. Kim's Google Scholar page, 140 plus articles that are published, that's just incredible. And these publications are on the cutting edge Web3 technologies. A lot of them are.
Gotcha. It's actually incredible. The potential here is ridiculous, and that's what brought me. That's what pulled me in. When I started doing my own research on the side and looked into NS Labs, what they have established way before, you guys came into play. What they have been doing over the past few years, well, not even few years, the past decade or so is ridiculous. Speaking of Indonesia, though, I know we spoke about the Nigerian rainforest. What plans do you have in Indonesia?
Yeah, so we're going to go out there. Like I was saying, Dr. Kim has deep ties in Indonesia. That's a country where he's had a lot of students come in from. He spent some time there. He's very, he loves that country. He has a big heart for it. So we're going to go there and we're going to talk to the local university there. I think we're going to talk to local government there, and we're going to talk about some blockchain technology. We're also going to look at possibly maybe doing some scholarships with some of the students in Indonesia to study there and learn blockchain. So we do want to give back to the community there, but we're also looking at maybe a blockchain project or maybe even a metaverse project over there. And then we also want to introduce the Pure Wallet to them and see if there's, see how we can introduce the Pure Wallet into Indonesia and see if we can get some adoption with that technology in their country.
Gotcha. Not to turn too political, and I know we only have a couple minutes left, but when it comes to the voting, the technology behind it and the facial recognition and making sure, that the votes are 1-for-1 and there's no cheating or manipulation. Have you talked to any other entities besides South Korea?
Yeah, so right now with the voting, it's gonna the test subjects is gonna happen in South Korea, and South Korea has certain things in place that makes this doable there. I think we have to consider how it would work in different places because if you're looking at governmental voting, there's a lot of things that come into play beyond technology, politics being at the top of it. So I think with Korea, there's a lot of things in place over there that's going to make that happen. So we'll have to see how it'll work out in other places. But cool, I think with voting, you don't have to necessarily use this just for government style voting. I think there's other places outside of government. It could be like some kind of corporate level, it could be some kind of groups. There's a lot of different levels out there where you could have people, now the way society is structured, it's more like a network society than it is before. It used to be, hey, we live in Southern California, so everyone you knew was in Southern California. You went to a certain church, you went to, you hung out at certain sporting events. Your kid was in high school, so these were the type of people we meet. Now we meet people through online. They could be completely across the country in different time zones, other side of the world, but there's interest that brings us together. So I think moving into more of a network society, I think voting and having voting where it's delivered, where they can just go to our platform and it's a plug and play for them and put together a voting app that'll be very easy for them to put together and set it up and put all the people in there, and they know everyone that should have had a chance to vote got that chance to vote, and they know that no one was able to manipulate it. That's going to be an important thing, not just in government, but I think even outside of government, and I think that would be an easier, quicker adoption for us.
For sure. I have this thing where there's a lot of projects that may launch a token, in August, and by November they have a government stuff. When they could just use pure for that. So it's a cool way.
Hey, Cool. For some reason, you're breaking up on me. I didn't hear most of that.
Sorry. Am I cool now? Am I clear?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Sorry. No, I was saying, like, there's projects that would launch in 1 month, and a couple months later they'll launch a DAO token, something that the community can use to vote on. When a lot of us kind of look at it like money grabs. Now, with this technology being out there, there's almost like no excuse for them to use that method for them to get votes, or what the community wants to see happen within your project. So I could see that technology within the Pure Wallet being utilized in a lot of different ways, and especially in the DeFi side of things. But I want to respect your time, so I want to get to Dr. Crypto. Dr. Crypto just came up. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? When we're done with the space, try and see if you have a Twitter update, because I went to another space to test it, and it works fine. But a lot of us Android folks can't stay on the space. It gets choppy, it cuts off, and then it takes us off altogether with connection issues. So it might be you as the host, so double check, see if you have a Twitter update, because I know I've had that issue a few times. But I have 2 questions for Augustine. Maybe I discussed them, but I wasn't able to stay on here at all. The first one is if the transfer tax has been removed for folks who want to transfer. And the second question is with the NFTs, we're talking about 5 ETH. Is that going to be determined at ETH at a specific price? Or is it going to be 5 ETH from launch? Or are we going to give it a total number of tokens? If you hold X number of tokens, that's considered 5 ETH worth based on your calculations.
Hey, Dr. Crypto, good to hear from you, man. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so we did kind of discuss both of these, so I'll kind of touch on it pretty quickly here. So on the transfer tax, today I took off the tax for the 18% sale tax, so now it's down to 10%. That happened a few hours ago. So that's in place. The transfer tax is still up. I think in about another day or two, I'll make an announcement on that. We're looking at some stuff with centralized exchanges, and we just want to make sure that we have a kind of even playing ground, but I'll update everyone on that over the next couple of days. And then as far as the NFT goes, so it's the cumulative 5 ETH. We are giving away, 200 of this to our top 100 to our top holders, and then another 100 to people that bought our tokens, held, but they're not in the top. But they've been a part of our community. They've been, talking about our tokens. They've been out there, so we want to reward those folks as well. And Cool did bring up a point earlier, what if the value of Ethereum changes and it causes people that had 5 ETH worth to drop a little bit beneath when we get close to that launching time. So I will come up with some clarity and we'll outline it before. I think it's May 4th is the date that the NFTs are scheduled to be released. So we do want to make sure that we address that, and we know that the rules were put in place before that happens. So I'll get more clarity on that as we get closer.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Good looking, Dr. Crypto. So my Twitter's updated. That's how I can throw up 100s again, because I guess they brought that back. They got thumbs up. That's kind of different. They got thumbs down, which I guess is
Yeah,
going to
that
create
means
some.
that means you're updated if you have those. So I don't know what's going on, but I went on another space. It worked perfectly fine, but I got kicked out of this one about 100 times. So, and it's not only me, but it looks like it's Android folks though.
Yeah, it's not only you. Wadi DM'd me, Daniel DM'd me. A few people have been in and out the space, so I guess maybe it's where I'm hosting the space from. Maybe the connection from Brooklyn isn't working so well for people outside of wherever you guys are from. But I don't know. Twitter's weird like that. We definitely need some sort of new platform to do these spaces, or Twitter needs to get the shit together. Either one. But yeah, if anybody has any other questions, request the mic, because I'm gonna shut the room down pretty soon. Augustine was just on the AMA with Austin, so I'm sure he's kind of tired and he needs to get back to work. But in general, Augustine, I really appreciate you taking the time out to come answer these questions, because for me it's important for clarity. Based on based on the answer that you gave me is going to determine my next purchase, whether I'm going to put in $500 or $1,000. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to answer these questions for me, and I'm sure it helps anybody else that's looking to make either their first purchase or another small purchase, whether it's DCA or whatever the case is. Another question for clarity, right? Before I let you go, the remaining 80% of the NFTs that will be out in the open market, what if no one meets any of the criterias for the NFTs? What happens when not all of it is sold? Let's say maybe 600 of those 800 NFTs are sold. Does the other 200 just go straight to OpenSea? Does it get burned? Does it go to giveaways? What do you see happening to the last bit of that, if that's the case? Because that might not be. It might sell out. But what happens if it doesn't?
Yeah, so right now I couldn't really tell you the answer to that. I'll have to give that some thought and figure out what we'll do in a situation like that. So we will do that. We wanted to, I think recently when I was on Dr. Crypto's, I believe it was there. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but people were asking, hey, what's happening with the NFTs? How's that going to work? When you guys going to make clarification? Give us a little heads up on when that's going to come around so we know how to plan for it. So we wanted to come out and share the information we have today. We know not all the information we have today is complete, but we did want to share that with the community. So I think as we get closer to that time, Cool, we'll have more of this. We'll have more of the information on this put down in writing, so everyone will know exactly what we plan on doing.
Gotcha. And final question of the day. I know you didn't want to talk prices, but can you give us some sort of inkling? How affordable will these NFTs be? Should I start saving now, or would I be able to like throw $100 to a couple $100 at it later with just like a quick payment, or would it be like super expensive, somewhere in the middle? Like what is your thinking so far?
Yeah, so that's really going to come into like what it's going to be driven by kind of like where we feel like we need to be with some of the technologies that we have coming down the road. So that's going to kind of play a part in it. But I think it's going to I would say you probably need to save up a little bit in order to do it. But I don't want to take too much guess at exactly what it's going to be until I know. I don't want to give people false ideas. So I'll just say that, hey, as we get closer, I'll definitely make that announcement.
Gotcha. All right, I don't want to hold you any more longer. I appreciate your time. To anybody that have any questions, hopefully you can jump in the Telegram. It's the best Telegram out there by far. But I appreciate your time, Augustine. Hopefully we can do this at some point again when you have any more updates with the trips to Nigeria. And I just really appreciate this. So with all due respect, shout out to everybody that came up. Twiz, I appreciate you. Dr. Crypto, good looking. Daniel, hopefully if any questions you had was answered here. I know you kept getting rugged. But I appreciate everybody here, and thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cool. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone that listened.
Gotcha.